I am live, I think. Hey everyone, it is Flavor Friday. I know we're a little bit late again. I promise to get back on schedule next week. It has just been an interesting couple of week and a half or so, and I had a couple of meetings this morning, great ones in the city. I can't wait to tell you more about it and share soon once we have some more concrete plans. But today we are getting ready for the free workshop that is coming up in just 3 days, Fridays, Monday night, 7 p.m. So if you haven't grabbed your seat yet, please make sure to do that. Drop workshop down below. This is free, and I'm just wanting to share with you all about starting a personal chef business. So today, what we are talking about is what I wish I knew before my first client. Looking back, there are so many things that I worried about that ultimately did not matter very much. It's kind of like having children, right? For you moms out there, everything that you worried about and fussed over, especially with the first one, in the end, ended up being the smaller things compared to the bigger things that came up, right? So today I wanted to share just a few lessons that nearly 20 years of being a professional personal chef have taught me. The first one, oh, and for those of you who are just meeting me, I'm Rebecca Connolly. I am a personal chef as well as a culinary nutritionist, food coach, culinary educator, personal chef coach. As a mom and as a personal chef, I wear several different hats and I love all of them. So thank you for spending these few minutes with me. So the first lesson that I wanted to share that nearly 20 years as a personal chef have taught me, the first one is you don't need to know everything. This is where many aspiring personal chefs get stuck. And it's where I was stuck for 6 years. Not just the business part of it, but the cooking part of it too. We think, oh, I need a certification or I need another certification. I need more recipes. I need more experience. I need to know everything first. But here's the reality. Here's the thing. You don't need to know everything. You need to know enough to help one family well, just one family, just one menu, the first menu, just one cook day. That's it. That's how many personal chefs that I know personally, that's how many of us begin. We don't know everything. We learn along the way, right? And you learn something new from every single client. So ask yourself here, I'd love for you to ask yourself, what food problem could you help someone solve right now? What food problem could I help someone solve right now? If you feel comfortable, please drop your answer down below. Could you help simplify dinner? Could you help meal plan? Could you help with dietary needs or reduce food waste? Could you help build flavor? Could you help organize a kitchen? That's where you want to start. The second lesson, clients want more relief than they want food perfection. One thing I wish I had understood much earlier is this: clients are not hiring perfection. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't cook and still have a successful personal chef business. And it doesn't mean that you don't provide excellent customer service as a personal chef. And it doesn't mean that, you go for that perfect, almost perfect service every single time, right? Because in a sense, you're only as good as your last service for that particular client. But they're not hiring perfection. They're not hiring the Michelin star plated foods, right? Most are not expecting that level of restaurant food. Most are not looking for elaborate presentations. And again, the foundation of my business is in-home meal preparation. And yes, I do offer dinner parties, small events. I've done dinner and massage. I've done in-home cooking classes. I've done I've done many things. But the foundation of my business has always been the one-on-one in-home client meal preparation for their everyday meals. So what most clients I've noticed are looking for, they are looking for relief from planning, shopping, deciding, figuring out dinner, carrying the mental load of food. How many food decisions do we make every day, every single one of us? It's upwards of 200 decisions that are related exactly to food. No wonder why we're exhausted before we even get into the kitchen, right? No wonder why getting into the kitchen is not an appealing activity. But this realization changed everything for me as a personal chef. I wasn't simply making meals, I was helping make their lives easier. So, think about your own life. What food task for you feels most exhausting? And yes, I, just like everyone else, I get tired of the planning, the shopping. I mean, it's an endless hamster wheel, right? That we're on. Because if we don't do it for ourselves, who's going to do it for us? Well, that's why people hire a personal chef. But to you, what food task feels most exhausting? Drop it down below if you're comfortable. That's often the very problem that many clients are trying to solve. All right, lesson 3, flavor matters. I talk about this all the time because I believe it very, very, very deeply. And I have seen it in practice in my own clients' lives and meals and habits over the past 20 plus years and in my own family. People repeat meals that they enjoy. People return to flavors they enjoy. Sustainability is built on satisfaction. One of the most valuable skills that you can develop is learning how to create meals that people genuinely enjoy eating. Flavor creates consistency. Consistency creates sustainability, and sustainable systems create relief. Most of my clients I've had for over 10 years. Okay. And when I onboard new clients, they generally stay for quite some time as well. So, flavor. I have been reading and writing and thinking a lot about diet culture lately, and a lot about how our food culture, specifically in the United States, developed over the past 1 to 200 years. And our taste buds and our attitudes toward flavorful food were very different 100 plus years ago, even towards what was nutritious food for children. They ate what the adults ate over, long, long time ago. But things happened, and I could go into all of the details, but that's really for a different topic, a different theme, a different talk. But needless to say, we have all of this. Food is fuel, and food is fuel, but food can be flavorful fuel, and in fact, it needs to be flavorful in order for it to be sustainable, to create that sustainable, healthy lifestyle that most of us are seeking, right? All right. So here's your practical exercise. So instead of constantly searching for new recipes, it's not about the recipes. Recipes are guidelines. Change the flavor direction. Change the flavor direction to one that you actually enjoy. And it doesn't need to be, hard and fast. This is what the flavors that make up this cuisine. What flavors do you enjoy that are together? And maybe they're in a different proportion than what is recommended by a particular cuisine, right? So take your protein, such as chicken, and chicken can become what? It can become tacos with a Mexican bent. It can become, it could be a taco with a Korean bent. It could be a grain bowl with Mediterranean flavors, or you could go comfort food, right? It could be chicken in a bowl with mashed potatoes. Chicken can become soup. It can become a pasta dish. You can put it into lettuce wraps, right? So same ingredient, same protein, different experience because you changed up the flavor profile. And it's okay to say, these are the flavors that I enjoy. These are the flavors that my family enjoys, because the beauty of home cooking is that you are cooking for yourself. You're cooking for the people, your people. You're not cooking for the whole town. You're not looking to find a standard that will create a business that people will come to your business specifically for that flavor. Does that make sense? As a personal chef, I am customizing the client's menus to their tastes and preferences. Yes, I'm obviously also taking into account my own cooking skills and strengths and what I do well at, but I'm always learning with every client as well. I learn along the way. All right, lesson number 4. Systems matter more than talent. This may be one of the biggest surprises when it comes to having and starting a personal chef business. Many assume successful personal chefs are simply more talented. I don't think that's true. I think successful personal chefs develop systems. Because look, the cooking as a personal chef is maybe 30% of the job. The rest of it is running a business. And how do you run a successful business? On systems, especially as a solopreneur, right? We plan menus, we organize shopping, we batch tasks, we create processes, we simplify decisions. What do systems do for us? Systems reduce stress, systems create consistency, and systems free up mental energy. So, what system have you already developed in your own kitchen? Maybe it's a meal planning system, or you have a grocery shopping system, or you have a way that you use leftovers that's effective. Maybe you have a way of rotating meals. Maybe you have a system for freezer meals, right? Don't overlook the systems that you've already created. You can take those systems that work for you and put them into practice for your clients because they're looking for relief for meals because they already don't have systems in place for themselves, or they've tried things and they haven't worked. But you have systems that do work. And that's what you're sharing with your clients as a personal chef. And lesson number 5, the first client teaches you more than months of preparation. For real. Really, they do. I wish someone had told me this because that first client for me changed everything. You learn, you adapt, you gain confidence, you solve problems, you begin seeing yourself differently. The experience itself becomes the teacher. Confidence comes from action. And I think many aspiring chefs spend too much time trying to feel ready. Confidence arrives later, often after you've already started, right? Fake it till you make it. Yes, there are certain things that you need to have in certain skills that you need to have in place ahead of time. But my first client was a lovely family. The parents were both working professionals and they had 5 kids, 2 sets of twins, and they simply wanted good, home cooked, nutritious food that they could offer their family every evening. They were very busy. And so for every Monday, for over 3 years, I think, until they moved to another city. This is when I was in San Antonio. I cooked in their kitchen for them. And we figured out a rotation of meals that worked for them. And we figured out a rotation of flavors that worked for them. So, there were always some dishes that appealed specifically to the kids. I think there was one, I don't know if I read it in a kid's cookbook or Cooking for Kids cookbook, but it was meatball wontons. Make the meatball, put it into a wonton wrapper, and then I made a spicy ketchup dip to go with it. Kids loved it. And she even messaged me through Facebook years later asking me for the recipe because she wanted to make it for her kids again. So that was my first family that I cooked for. And another first client that I had 2 allergy panels in the same family. So I created 3 meals for one allergy panel and 3 meals for the other allergy panel and vacuum packed all the meals. Looking back, I would handle the situation a little bit more efficiently today than I did back then. But I learned so much. I learned more about allergy panels. I learned even more than I already knew about clean eating and clean cooking and, making sure things weren't being cross contaminated. So every client is unique. Every client taught me something about not only customer service, but about cooking because I learn as I go along, right? All right. So if there's one thing that I hope you take away from today's conversation, it's this. Don't underestimate what you've already learned. Don't assume you need everything. Figure it out already. Don't overlook the skills that have become normal to you because what's normal for you is perhaps light years beyond what your client may be doing or are maybe already doing for themselves. You may be closer than you think. That's why I titled the workshop that. And if today's conversation resonated with you, I would love for you to join me Monday night, June 22nd, 7 p.m. It's a free workshop. and it's titled You May Already Have the Skills. We've been talking a lot about this. We're going to talk about what personal chefs actually do, the skills successful personal chefs use, why many skilled cooks underestimate themselves, and the simplest path to getting started. Listen, I was a philosophy major in college. I went to grad school for philosophy. Business was the last thing on my mind, but I always wanted to be in business for myself. So I needed the simplest model possible to get started, and that's what I want to share with you. So comment workshop down below, and I will send you over the registration details. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you all Monday night. Remember, flavor is how we savor at the table and in life. Keep it simple.